Alright, just notched over 4,000 miles on this specialized Diverge E5. I got this back in somewhere around November of 2018. Put a little over 3,000 miles on it last year, and a little over 1,000 now. So just wanted to give an update, some of my takeaways after a decent amount of time riding this bike, and some of the different ways I've used it. So I originally just got it because I wanted a kind of gravel adventure bike, something that you could still ride on the road and carry a decent pace while also, you know, being able to go on some light single track gravel fire roads, that type of thing. So I have done a decent amount of gravel riding on it, not as much as I would have liked. I even did a little over 60-mile gravel race, the Skull 60, down in Eastern Oregon last June, and it handled the conditions pretty well. It was actually a pretty tough and technical course, some really deep gravel, really bumpy, just steep technical terrain on good chunks of it, and it fared pretty well, honestly, in that conditions, except for the really like thick gravel or sand. These are 38 Tracer Pros, and I think I was running them at the time. I just wasn't able to get as lower pressure as I would have liked, or I would have been getting a lot of pinch flats because these aren't tubeless. So if you're wanting to do more technical terrain where you need to lower the tire pressure, I would highly recommend getting a tubeless setup, because you could get decently low and get a lot better grip and traction in those type of settings. And actually, so I won that race, which is pretty cool. And even though my shifting ended up during that race got all fucked up and it kept skipping out of gear every maybe 4 or 5 pedal strokes, I was still able to win that. And one of the prizes, along with a little bit of cash, which was actually really sweet, was a tubeless wheel set. I just need to get some tires for it and a tube, and I'd be ready to go. So that I need to get those set up. But I've just been running the stock rims with these specialized Tracer Pro 38 mil tires, and I mean, they're getting a little bit worn down. I think that's the second one I've had on the back. This is still the standard front one. It's getting pretty worn down, but doing okay. As far as the brakes go, I feel like they're adequate for all but the steepest descents, whether it be, you know, on, looks like those are 160 millimeter, yeah, all but the steepest gravel or even really steep pavement sections, especially if you're, you know, trying to push or ride aggressively. It'd be nice to have a little bit stronger brakes, but for stock, you know, not too bad. Some little water dropping on me. And then I just have the Shimano XT mountain bike clip-in pedals on there. The mountain bike shoes, these are actually ones I picked up when I got my road bike, so it's kind of cool. I have the same pedals, so my shoes will work on both bikes. And just a couple of bottle cages, this little micro shot rechargeable thing, there we go, rechargeable light, always good to be seen, and a rechargeable headlight. His toe peak talk bag where I have a spare tube, levers, and a little pump. But honestly, I've maybe gotten, like, I didn't get any flats during that 60-mile gravel race, and which was actually very impressive. I think I've maybe got 2 or 3 flats on this so far. Knock on wood. I know this isn't, but and then you have the Shimano Claris group set on this, and it's pretty versatile gearing. I feel like, what is this? I want to say, pretty sure it's a 32 cassette in the back, and I wish it had maybe like a 34, 36 would be awesome, just because if you're really wanting to do some adventure rides and not having to be really, you know, just slowing down your cadence a lot, it'd be nice to have a little bit bigger gearing in the back, because honestly, if it did, and some stronger brakes and a tubeless setup, I would feel comfortable taking this on some pretty steep and technical, you know, logging roads that I, you know, would normally take a mountain bike on, or at least attempting it and, you know, seeing how it felt. And let's see, this just the stock Specialized saddle has held up well. It's comfortable. I've done some, I think the longest ride I've done on it's like five hours, and my butt felt fine and everything the next day. It's a 56 centimeter frame. I'm about 5'9" or so. It fits me well. And I just have been riding this bike a lot more than my road bike. I just really like the geometry of it. I like that it's a little bit more relaxed, and it encourages you to be able to ride longer and rack up more climbing, more distance, more time, just because it's so comfortable. And maybe that just speaks to me needing to adjust my road bike setup a little bit, perhaps. But it's one of the things I really like about this bike, is it feels just so natural and comfy to ride. It's like just wants you just to get out there and explore. These are just the stock wheels. Looks like, what is that, Axis Sport. I mean, they're pretty bulletproof. I haven't had any issues with them as far as like broken spokes or anything like that. That is one thing, if I was to upgrade something on this bike, and I might do that at some point, because honestly it's, I don't know, just been such a durable and fun bike. I would like to even make it a little faster, you know. Even I would upgrade the wheel set, pick up a decent little carbon wheel set, and that could save, I mean, depend how much you want to spend, you could save a couple pounds, you know, which would add up, obviously. And then, you know, maybe upgrading the group set and changing around the gearing. If I was to upgrade something, that's where I'd start, the wheel set, and then trying to get some bigger gears on the back, and then maybe you know, upgrading something beyond the Shimano Claris there. And so this bike retailed, I picked it up from Center Cycle in Renton, Washington, a local bike shop to me. I've actually ridden this bike down there, dropped it off to get service, had my dad pick me up, and we went out to eat after, because you can basically get down there, again, I'm probably 80-85% protective bike path, and I've just always had good customer service with them. This bike was about, I want to say, $1,200 out the door, and that and I started off with just platforms on it, actually, and then I brought in my bike, got the pedals and stuff set up. They also gave me a free bike fitting, which I just found like super helpful. The guy was doing all these different types of measurements, and it just got the bike just dialed in from the start, which is really cool. One of the things I didn't get from when I bought my Cannondale from REI is that. So if you're in the Seattle area, I highly recommend checking out Center Cycle. And actually, I need to take this there at some point because it's not shifting into the big chain ring, because I snapped the cable somehow. So definitely need to get that fixed. I think this bike weighs stock you know, obviously without the bottle cages, the bottles or the lights or the top bag. I think I want to say 21, 22 pounds. So I mean, you lighten that up by getting, you know, lighter wheel set, I don't know what, maybe lighter handlebars, different group set, maybe some lighter brake. I mean, you could get this thing down, you know, probably sub 20 pounds. I mean, you'd have to spend a decent chunk of money. Maybe at that point it would make sense to buy, you know, the higher end model of this that would have the carbon frame, and what do they call it, the future shock. It has a little bit, like 20 millimeters of suspension on the front, which just sounds amazing, especially for those long technical gravel rides, or, you know, light single track, or, you know, fire roads, whatever it may be. It would just be super helpful for those conditions. But just some of my thoughts 4,000 miles in on the Specialized Diverge E5. And I didn't say it, but you probably already knew by the price. This is a aluminum frame. It's been super sturdy and reliable. I haven't had any type of issues with it whatsoever. I mean, I've always had, you know, good luck with aluminum frames. Higher end models, like I said, come with carbon. Oh, and this is also actually pretty cool. And so you can see the cable there. I don't know how the hell that happened, but it did. Anyways, so you can take these bolts out, and that'll fit another cage down there, which is awesome. I'm gonna probably get that set up with that for some longer rides in the summer. So maybe 5 or 6 hour rides where I can carry 60 ounces of water with me, which, you know, that'll last solid 3 hours. And one of the places I like to ride to is actually out to the spring, where I've been bringing my gloves with me and filling up the bottles that way, so I'm not having to touch stuff because, you know, the coronavirus and not wanting to get it and spread it and whatnot. Oh, and you can also get a rack set up on this, get some panniers, some bags, and I think you can also do that on the front. Yeah, you get the little bracket for down there. So I mean, that's pretty cool if you wanted to do like some light bike touring and whatnot. I think it'd work really well for that. I think if you were going to do that though, you'd want some bigger gear, probably, unless you were going on some pretty flat terrain, just because if the bike gets really heavy, you're not wanting to have to grind up super steep hills, or you're going to be, you know, having to push it, and that's just not as efficient. But overall, I found it's been really good investment, and I've always had pretty good luck with Specialized stuff. I mean, I'm not one of those people who, oh, I just saw like a grate here, and let's see if you can see it. It's about to come in frame. Damn, it's badass. Anyways, I don't have the ability, nor I don't think I'd want to be able to have to spend $10,000 on a bike. But I mean, $1,200 out the door. I doubt it's any more expensive now. It might even be less, honestly, because the technology keeps progressing. So that means you can, you know, get this type of setup for even less, because there's newer, upgraded, you know, sexier stuff going on. But I would love to hear what kind of setup you have on your Diverge, if it's this model, the E5, or otherwise, or if you have any type of other gravel bikes, and just your just overall impressions of them. I mean, I've almost been thinking about getting rid of my road bike, just because I really just enjoy riding this so much, and it's just so comfortable. Like, it just feels pretty easy to push. But upgrading it, or maybe trying to sell both, and then getting you know, a nice light even lighter weight gravel bike, and just have a couple of wheel sets for that, and just, rip around. Sounds kind of fun, honestly. So I don't know. So those are my thoughts. I would love to hear is in the comment sections down below. Peace. Much love.